to today's class. For today, the only equipment or prop that you will need is a strap to make some of the movements a little bit more accessible and to find a little bit more ease. So if you have something like that laying around, whether it is a yoga strap, a belt, or a scarf, that will work just fine for some of the movements that we'll be doing today in class. So whenever you're ready and have what you need, go ahead and meet me on your back. So bring the feet flat to the mat, knees bent, and then just hook your hands underneath your thighs and slowly lower down. Bring your feet wide along the outer edges of the mat, and then allow the knees to come together to touch. Starting class today with just a comfortable, supported position. Giving your body the chance to settle in and relax before we find some movement, focusing on the legs, and staying low to the ground today. All of our movements are going to come right from this position. So take advantage of this time and just get your body acclimated. Feel free to shimmy and shift. To feel supported, maybe scooping the shoulder blades underneath you. Gentle lift of the chin towards the sky to find some space in the neck and the chest. And start to focus on your breath, taking nice slow inhales and exhales. Encouraging the body to relax a little bit more. Feel free to keep your arms alongside your body or open them up a little bit more. Start to find some space within the hips, within the low back. So bring your knees away from one another and then just start to let them fall towards the right side. So you're going to have a wide open base here throughout the legs. Then bring the legs towards center and over towards the left. Going as far as you feel comfortable each time. Maybe starting small and increasing that movement each time you come back to that side. Moving a little bit further, stretching a little bit deeper. And moving at your own pace. When you get back to the right side, allow the knees to fall as far as your body will allow today. Then become a little bit more active in the legs. With the left leg, start to drive the outside edge of the left knee towards the left side of the room. So you're going to start to open the hips a little bit more. So you're going to push, 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 push with that left knee, trying to keep that right leg anchored towards the earth as long as you can. So that you start to feel a stretch within the inner thighs, within the groin. And then so the more you push the outside edge of that left knee, eventually the right leg will start to lift. Feel that space. And then allow everything to slowly come towards the left as the right knee starts to fall over towards that side. Then reverse that movement. So the outer edge of the right knee starts to drive towards the right side of the room, finding a little bit more space within the inner thighs, within the groin, keeping that left knee anchored as long as you can, to feel as much space as you have available. And then eventually the left leg will follow suit and come over towards the right side. So work through that active movement, that engagement a little bit more, just a few more times. Driving the left knee open, keeping the right knee anchored as long as you can, finding that space and then allowing the right knee to follow towards the left. Right knee drives open. Finding that space, left knee falls. And again, moving through this at a pace that's comfortable for you. You may be moving faster than I am, maybe a little bit slower. So whichever side you're on, driving with that top knee, trying to open as far as you can, and then allowing the trail leg to follow suit. Once more each side. And then once you come through center, return to that starting position, bring the feet in underneath the knees, so hips, knees, ankles all in line. Gentle tuck of the tummy to support the low back, and bring the right knee in towards the chest. If you find that you are lifting up, reaching towards that right leg, go ahead and take your strap to find a little bit more ease within this pose. So the upper body and the arms can relax. So the upper body can relax against the mat. So if you're comfortable, bringing the strap behind your thigh, pulling it in towards your body just like that. And then maybe bringing the thigh alongside the body to find a little bit more space. If behind the thigh isn't working for you, you can bring the strap just below the knee and use that as an anchor point instead. But if that compression is too much, sneak the strap behind the knee and find that compression that way. You can keep the left leg bent to support your low back, or if it's comfortable, you can let that left leg go long. Breathing into those areas of compression within the hip, within the knee. And find those little adjustments if you need. Maybe it is more comfortable to bring the knee directly in towards the chest. Maybe opening it a little bit wider gives your body a little bit more space. And then from here, start to find some mobility, making some big circles. Drawing the knee out wide, up towards the sky, in towards the midline of the body, and then back in towards the chest. Letting the hip open as much or as little as you'd like. But allowing that grip, whether it's with your hands or the strap, to help guide the hip through these circles, through this motion. And then whichever way you started with, go ahead and reverse that movement. So maybe finding the compression first, and then allowing the hip to open, find some relief, find some space. With all of these movements, keeping the back against the earth. So you don't feel like you're straining or craning your neck and your chest up and in towards that leg. The upper body should be relaxed through these movements. Then finish your last circle here. Draw the knee back in towards the chest. Use the left hand to grab the outer edge of the right knee and bring the right knee across your body. As you find this gentle twist, keep the right shoulder blade anchored against the ground. And that'll likely mean that right knee is floating up above the floor. And that's just fine. You can let that hang, or you can find some gentle pressure on the outer edge of the knee to bring it a little bit closer, find a little bit more of a stretch within the hip. Breathing into into a twist, breathing into that right rib cage to find a little bit more space, to find a little bit more ease. If you find that there's any tension in the right hip, feel free to bring the right thigh even a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower. Give your body the space it needs to avoid building any unnecessary tension. Inhale, guide the right knee back towards center. And then grabbing hold of the back of your right thigh, letting the lower leg hang and relax for just a moment. From here, you're going to drag the heel of the right leg up towards the sky, bring that leg to straight. And then lower back down. Driving the heel up, bring that leg to straight, engaging that thigh muscle to help the leg towards that direction. Then stretching the back of the knee, and exhale up. Inhale, drive up. Exhale, lower. Your knee might not come all the way to straight, and that is just fine. Your hip should be around a 90-degree angle. So again, if that reach is too much for you, go ahead and grab that strap once more. That strap, the belt, the scarf, whatever you have accessible, and just help support that leg. Again, keeping the upper body down and relaxed. Inhale, kick up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, driving the heel towards the sky. Bring the toes back towards you. Exhale, lower. Twice more. Inhale, drive. Exhale, lower. And inhale to straighten. And then exhale, lower down. Using that strap or whatever prop you have available, create a loop at the end. So if you have a scarf, just tie a knot so that you have that little loop accessible. And you're just gonna wrap it around the balls of your feet. Holding onto the long end. You have to lift your leg up to about that 90-degree bend. Doesn't need to be any more, it can be any more or less, whatever your body is allowing for today. And then holding onto the strap, allow your leg to fall open towards the right. Nice and slow. Allowing the body to slowly enter that movement. And then just feeling that stretch in the inner thigh, the groin. For comfort, you can always bend the left knee if that's better for your body. Or you can keep that left leg straight. Keeping the left side of the body anchored towards the mat, towards the earth. To find a little bit more depth in the stretch. And if you're having any discomfort in the right hip, explore raising and lowering the leg to find the position that's most optimal for you. Breathing into any lines of tension. And then keeping that tension on the strap, bringing those toes towards you to decrease the effort in that leg. The arm is doing more of the work to support the leg so that we can find some more space. Inhale, bring the right leg back in towards center, pulling with the inside of that leg and using that strength there, and then lowering the leg down. If you straighten your left leg out, go ahead and bring that back in. And then cross your right ankle over the left knee. finding that figure 4. Coming into this position, this may be plenty for you and your body. Start to drive the right knee up towards the top right corner of the mat, finding a little bit more space. And then if this is all that you need for today, great, go ahead and stay here. If you want to find a little bit more depth within the right hip, start to bring the left knee in towards the chest, placing the fingers just below the left knee, pulling everything in towards you. As we've done with other poses in class, feel free to grab the strap to help bring the left leg in. Continuing to drive the right knee up towards the top right corner. Allowing the back to remain neutral on the mat. If you find that your body is curling up towards your legs rather than your legs coming towards you, the strap will be helpful to keep the focus on the legs. I don't want any straining in the shoulders, the upper back, and the neck. So if you're finding that you're feeling that just as much as you're feeling the stretch in the hip, use what you have available to find a little bit more ease. One more breath here, breathing into those tighter spaces. And then go ahead, slowly unlace the fingers, allow the left foot to come back towards the mat. And from here, we're going to find 2 different twists. So you're keeping this position, allow the legs to fall together towards the left. So keeping the right ankle hooked just above the left knee, and allow the left leg to open up. The sole of the right foot will come to the earth, and the left inner thigh will be facing the sky. So that's the position that you should be in this moment. If you find that this position is a little bit more difficult for you to access, the right leg can hover from the floor. You can grab hold of that ankle just so it feels a little bit more supported. Or if you have pillows nearby, you can sneak that pillow underneath the outer edge of your left knee. So you can find a little bit more ease. You can hang out here in this position for a little bit longer, so that you can give your body the chance to feel the stretch within the outer edge of the hip. You don't feel like you're straining to be here. Just use whatever you have nearby to fill the space and allow your body to relax. One more breath. And go ahead and bring everything back in towards center, keeping the core strong to help get you there. And then keeping this position at once more, we're going to allow everything to fall over towards the right. So keeping that right ankle hooked on the left knee as your body allows, and then bring everything towards the right. So you should now feel more of a stretch, more opening within the left hip and the left low back. Allowing the right knee to fall open towards the mat. If you find that it's craned up just a little bit, maybe it needs those pillows, those blankets to allow it to open a little bit more, or just relax a little bit more, take away that tension. Maybe you sneak the left foot down and away from your body to find that space. Whether you make the position bigger or smaller based on your mobility and based on how your body is showing up for you today. Try not to force your body in any which way in any particular direction. Just allow the body to relax and settle in. We'll take a few more breaths here. Allowing the legs to fall heavy, to feel open. And then tighten the belly, inhale back towards center. Uncross the right leg. And then maybe windshield wiper the leg side to side. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the left. So as we begin to move into the left hip, maybe you take note of how things feel different side to side in the different poses. Or in general, now that we've found all of this movement, all of this space in the right hip, as we slowly start to explore that in the left side. Inhale back towards center, settle in, and then bring the left knee in towards the chest. Keep the right knee bent if you like that support. Otherwise, you can allow the right leg to extend long. Driving that left knee in towards the left armpit, finding that space. Using the strap as you need to find ease in this position. Keeping the spine neutral, the torso, the shoulders, the back of the head, all resting on the mat. And if that's more difficult for you today, rebend the right knee, bring that strap in, give your body some support. Now start to slowly find those circles within the hip, starting whichever direction comes naturally to you, making those circles as big or as small as you'd like. Pulling in towards the chest, allowing the knee to open wide, drive far away from you, maybe coming across the body, and back in. Taking the movements nice and slow, moving at a pace that's comfortable for you. And then start to switch directions. If you're finding any pinching in the front of the hip, make those movements a little bit smaller, a little bit more shallow. Maybe working your way a little bit deeper each time. If you find that compression is too much, maybe you're just holding your kneecap. Maybe making those movements even bigger, less compressive in that way. Maybe that's more helpful for you today. Find a few more circles here. And then pull the left knee back in towards the chest. And then using the right hand, bringing the knee across your body. Keeping that right shoulder anchored down towards the earth. And breathing into the twist. Breathing into the left rib cage, into the left hip. Making any adjustments, bringing the thigh higher or lower to find ease in this twist. If you stole some blankets or pillows from earlier poses and you'd like to use them again, you can always support the inside of the left knee to find a little bit more of a passive moment here. If you feel like you're holding on to too much tension, give your body that little boost. One more breath. And inhale back towards center. Grabbing hold just behind the thigh, lacing the fingers, keeping that hip at 90 degrees and allowing the lower part of the leg to fall heavy. You're going to start to find some space within the back of the leg. So you're going to lift, keep the toes lifted, driving the heels towards the sky, slowly coming into that more straight position. Then exhale, lower down. Inhale, driving the heel towards the sky, lifting through the sole of the foot towards the sky. Finding that strength within the thigh, the front of the thigh, to find length within the back of the leg. Exhale, low. Inhale, drive up. Nice and slow. Slowly introduce your body to this space. And then exhale, lower. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, kick to straight. Reach the sole of the foot up and long. Find that length. Exhale, lower. Twice more. Drive the heel up. Exhale, lower. Last one here. Pressing the left leg to straight. And exhale, lower down. Go ahead and find your strap. Looping the bottom just underneath the sole of the foot, the pads of the toes. Keeping that length within the back side of the leg. You can keep your hip at that 90 degrees. You can open the hip a little bit more. Or if you have that space to bring it in a little bit further, again, whichever feels good for you and your body today. And then keeping that tension on the strap, allowing the leg to open towards the left. Finding that space within the inner thigh, the groin. Keeping the toes pulled towards you, towards the shin. And if you find that you're holding on to any tension within the thigh, within the hip, let that go. Breathe into those spaces. Keeping the rest of the body relaxed. A lot of the effort should be in that left arm. If you want to use that right arm to kind of help with that, you can, if you have the length in that prop that you're using. And breathing into the space of the left inner thigh. Exploring any range of motion that you'd like. Maybe now you find that lowering the leg gets into that area a little bit better. Maybe bringing the left leg a little bit higher. Again, explore your body in this pose using the prop to guide you. Two more breaths, nice and slow, breathing into the head. And when we return the left leg back in towards center, maybe rebend the right knee, if that feels comfortable for you. But engaging the inner thigh, pulling everything back in, keeping the tummy strong. And then exhale, lower down. Unloop the foot, bring the left foot to the earth, right foot to the earth, bending the knees. And then hooking the left ankle above the right knee. Coming into that figure 4 on the left side. You can stay here. Driving the left knee towards the top left corner, finding that space. That might be plenty for you. But if you want to explore a little bit more in the left hip, go ahead and bring the right knee in towards the chest. Bring everything in towards you. Keeping that drive of the outer edge of the left knee up towards the top of the mat. Keeping the neck, the shoulders relaxed down. Use the strap if you need to bring things in. Should feel the space, the opening within the outside of the left hip. If you're feeling tension anywhere else, lower the legs back down, reintegrate. Do any shifts and shimmies that you need to make the pose more comfortable, more accessible for you. And this side might be completely different than the right side. Having that imbalance left to right is normal. So if on the right side you're able to bring everything in with a little bit more ease, more comfort, but this side you just can't seem to find it, go ahead and return to that starting position. You're still going to get the mobility that you need. Breathing into that space for one more breath. Then go ahead and lower the right foot back down to the earth. And we're going to move into those 2 twists. So keeping the left ankle above the right knee, allow everything to fall and open towards the right. So the right hip's going to open, the sole of the left foot's going to come towards the earth. Keeping the left knee pressing up towards the top of the mat. So keeping that hip open. If that leg needs a little bit more support, grab a hold of the ankle and allow it to come away from the earth just a little bit. You might find a little bit more comfort here with that support. And if it still feels like too much, just allow the left foot to come on to rest on the inner thigh of the right leg. If the twist feels too intense, come out of it just a little bit and let it rest there. Inhale back towards center, bring everything back in. Then exhale, allow everything to fall to the left. Keeping that left ankle resting on the outer edge of the right knee. Allowing the left thigh to relax towards the earth. Maybe opening the right leg a little bit more. And if keeping that bind of the ankle and the thigh, if that's too much, you can always just open the left leg a little bit more. So that you're almost in like you're running, but you're laying on the ground. So the left leg is bent above the right leg. And so maybe finding that space there makes this position a little bit more comfortable. Otherwise, you can keep the left ankle hooked on the outer edge of the right knee. Feeling that space within the right hip, within the right low back. Keeping the right shoulder anchored into the earth. And tighten the tummy, inhale back towards center, pull everything back in towards the middle. And then left foot comes to the earth. You can bring your feet wide, or you can keep them hips width apart. Whatever's most comfortable for you to find those windshield wipers once more. This range can be small. You can just do little shifts side to side. Whatever feels good for you to loosen up the hips, the low back, after finding that mobility. Now on both sides. Bring the heels a little bit closer towards your bottom. Inner line of the ankles come to touch, and then allow the knees to fall wide. Soles of the feet are now touching, the knees are falling wide. You're finding space within the groin, the inner thigh. And then go ahead and reach the arms up overhead, grabbing opposite elbows. Scooping the shoulder blades underneath you. Just allowing the front body to find a little bit more space, more opening. As we come towards the end of the class. It might feel good for you, allowing the knees to open again and allowing gravity to explore that range for you. But if it's too much to have the knees open in this way, find those blankets, the pillows, to give the legs that support. You'll still find that space, but with a little less effort. And if keeping the arms up overhead is bringing too much tension to other places in the body, just allow them to fall heavy alongside your body. Keep your knees open, maybe rocking side to side. One last bout of movement. And then settle into center and allowing the legs to fall heavy. Feel free to stay in this position for as long as you need. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.